Hi everyone, this is Toiba from Tesla Creations. Today I'm going to be making this adult slipper here. I've already made the right slipper, so I'm going to be making the left slipper in this tutorial. So for this tutorial, I'm going to be needing 5.0mm hook and 4.0mm hook, stitch markers, and tapestry needle. Then I'm going to be using worsted weight yarn, so you can use any color of your choice. So to start, I'm going to make a slip knot. This slipper is going to be worked flat as usual. So make a slip knot and then chain 53. I'm making a US size 7, so just go ahead and make your 53 chains and I'll join you when I'm through with my chains. So I've made 53 chains. I'm going to skip the first chain from the hook and into the second chain from the hook I'm going to make a single crochet. So that's my first stitch. I'm going to mark my first stitch and then make a single crochet into each chain across, and end of row 1 we should have a total of 52 single crochets. I forgot to mention that you're going to need 4 buttons for this pattern, 2 for each slipper. So just go ahead and make your single crochet row and I'll join you at the end of the row. So I'm through with my row of single crochet. I have 52 single crochets in total. So moving on to row 2 now, I'm going to chain 1, turn, make 2 single crochets into the first stitch. 1. I'm going to mark my very first stitch. And then make another single crochet into the same stitch. Then I'm going to make a single crochet into the next 22 stitches. So then after making my 22 single crochets, into the next 6 stitches after that, I'm going to be making 2 single crochets each. Then make another 22 single crochets. Then I'll finish the row with 2 single crochets. So just go ahead and do that and I'll join you at the end of the row. I'm through with row 2 and I have a total of 60 single crochets. So moving on to row 3 now, I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Into the first stitch, I'm going to be making 2 single crochets. That's my first single crochet. I'm going to mark this stitch and then another single crochet into the same stitch. Then I'm going to make a single crochet into the next 26 stitches. When I'm through with that, I'm going to make 2 single crochets into the next 6 stitches and then your single crochet into the next 26 stitches and then make 2 single crochets into the last stitch. The instructions on the screen, so I'll just go ahead and do mine and I'll join you at the end of row 3. Through with row 3 and I have 68 stitches in total. So moving on to row 4 now, chain 1, turn, make 2 single crochets into the first stitch. So my first single crochet, I'll mark, then a second single crochet into the same stitch. Then make 1 single crochet into the next 11 stitches, and after that I'm going to make 1 half double crochet into the next 11 stitches and then 1 double crochet into the next 8 stitches, then 2 double crochets into the next 6 stitches, then 1 double crochet into the next 8 stitches, then 1 half double crochet into the next 11 stitches, and then 1 single crochet into the next 11 stitches, and we'll finish the row with 2 single crochets into the last stitch. So the instructions on the screen and I will join you when I'm through with mine. So I'm through with row 4 and I have a total of 76 stitches. So moving on to row 5 now, I'm going to chain 1, turn, make 2 single crochets into the first stitch and mark my first stitch. Then make 1 more single crochet into the same stitch. Then I'm going to make 1 single crochet into the next 12 stitches and then 1 half double crochet into the next 12 stitches after that, and then 1 double crochet into the next 26 stitches, then 1 half double crochet into the next 12 stitches, 1 single crochet into the next 12 stitches, and then finish the row with 2 single crochets into the last stitch. So at the end of row 5 we should have a total of 78 stitches. So just go ahead and follow the instruction on the screen and I will join you when I'm through with mine. So I'm through with row 5, and that's the last row of the sew. So for the upper part of the slipper now, I'm going to be using 4.0 mm hook. So chain 1, turn. I'm going to be working to the front loops only. So I go to the front loop only of the first stitch and make a single crochet and mark my stitch, and then make a single crochet into the front loops only of each stitch across. So at the end of row 6, you should have a total of 78 stitches. So just go ahead and do your row of single crochets into front loops only, and I will join you at the end of the row. I'm through with row 6. So moving on to row 7, I'm going to chain 2, turn, then make a half double crochet into the first stitch. I'm going to mark my first stitch, and then make a half double crochet into each stitch across. So at the end of row 7, we have a total of 78 half double crochets. So just go ahead and finish your row of half double crochets, and I'll join you when I'm through with mine. So I'm through with row 7. So moving on to row 8, and I'm going to chain 1, turn, make a single crochet into the first stitch. I'm going to mark that, and then make a single crochet into the next 18 stitches. So that's 19 single crochets in total. Then I'll make a half double crochet in the next 14 stitches, and then make double crochet 2 together 6 times, and then make 1 half double crochet into the next 14 stitches, and then 1 single crochet into the remaining 19 stitches of the row. So I'll just go ahead and do that, and I'll join you when I'm through with mine. Row 8, and I have a total of 72 stitches. So moving on to row 9 now, I'm going to chain 1, turn, then make a single crochet into the first stitch. I'll mark that, then make a single crochet into the next 17 stitches. So that'll be 18 single crochets in total. Then once I'm through with that, I'll make 1 half double crochet in the next 12 stitches, then make double crochet 2 together 6 times again, and then 1 half double crochet in the next 12 stitches, then make 1 single crochet in the remaining 18 stitches of the row. So at the end of row 9, you have a total of 66 stitches. So just go ahead and do that, and I'll join you when I'm through with mine. So I'm through with row 9. So moving on to row 10, I'm going to chain 1, turn, single crochet in the first stitch. Let me do that again. Single crochet in the first stitch. Mark. I'm going to mark that with a stitch marker. Then single crochet in the next 17 stitches. So we have 18 single crochets in total. So once I'm through with that, I'm going to make 1 half double crochet in the next 11 stitches. Then I'll make double crochet 2 together 4 times, then 1 half double crochet in 11 stitches. Then I'll finish the row with single crochet in the last 18 stitches. So I'll just go ahead and do that, and I'll join you at the end of row 10. So I'm through with row 10, and I have 62 stitches in total. So moving on to row 11 now, I'm going to chain 1, turn, make a single crochet into the first stitch. I'll mark the stitch, and then make a single crochet in the next 16 stitches. So that will be a total of 17 single crochets. And after that, I'm going to make 1 half double crochet in the next 10 stitches, then make double crochet 2 together 4 times, then 1 half double crochet in the next 10 stitches, and then finish the row with 1 single crochet in the remaining 17 stitches. So I'll just go ahead and do that, and I'll come back and join you when I'm through with the row. I've made it to the end of row 11, and I have 58 stitches in total. So moving on to row 12 now, chain 1, turn, make a single crochet into the first stitch, mark it, and then make a single crochet in the next 15 stitches. So that'll be a total of 16 single crochets. Then once I'm through with my 16 single crochets, then I'll make 1 half double crochet in the next 9 stitches, then double crochet 2 together 4 times, then 1 half double crochet in the next 9 stitches, then I'll finish the row with 1 single crochet in the remaining 16 stitches of the row. So just go ahead and do that, and I'll join you at the end of the row. So I'm through with row 12 and I have 54 stitches. So moving on to row 13, chain 1, turn, make a single crochet into the first stitch, mark stitch, make a single crochet into the next 13 stitches. So we have a total of 14 single crochets. So once I'm through with the 14 single crochets, I'm going to make 1 half double crochet into the next 9 stitches, then double crochet 2 together 4 times, then 1 half double crochet into the next 9 stitches, and then single crochet in the remaining 14 stitches of the row. I'm sorry that my voice sounds funny. I'm having a sore throat, so please bear with me. So I'll just go ahead and follow the instruction, and I will join you at the end of the row. So I'm at the end of row 13 and I have 50 stitches. So moving on to row 14, I'm going to chain 1, turn, make a single crochet into the first stitch, mark it, and make a single crochet in the next 12 stitches. So that's a total of 13 single crochets. So once I'm showing my 13 single crochets, I'll make 1 half double crochet in the next 8 stitches, and then double crochet 2 together 4 times, then 1 half double crochet in the next 8 stitches, and then make a single crochet in the remaining 13 stitches. So at the end of row 14, we shall have a total of 46 stitches. So just go ahead and do that, and I will join you at the end of the row. So I'm through with row 14. So moving on to row 15 now, chain 1, turn, 1 single crochet in the first stitch, mark it, 1 single crochet in the next 11 stitches. So that's a total of 12 single crochets. And I'm going to make a single crochet. Once I'm doing my 12 single crochet, I'm going to make 1 half double crochet in the next 7 stitches, then double crochet 2 together 4 times, then 1 half double crochet in the next 7 stitches, and then finish the row with a single crochet in the remaining 12 stitches. And at the end of the row, you have 42 stitches. So just go ahead and do that, and I will join you at the end of row 15. I'm through with row 15 and I have 42 I have 42 stitches in total. So moving on to row 16 now, I'm going to chain 2, turn, make a half double crochet into the first stitch, and mark that, and then I'll make a half double crochet into each stitch across. So at the end of row 16, you have 42 half double crochets. So, and I'll repeat the same instructions for row 17. So basically row 16 and row 17, you just make a half double crochet into each stitch across. Start the row with chain 2 and then make a half double crochet into each stitch across. So I'll just go ahead and do row 16 and row 17, and I will join you at the end of row 17. So I've made it to row 17, and this is what we have so far. So this is the point that would determine the right and the left slipper. Remember I said I've made the right slipper. So when I got to row 17 for the right slipper, I did this part first. This little part first. So now for the left slipper, I'm going to be doing this part first. So to do that, I'm going to chain 2, turn, make a half double crochet into the first stitch, mark it, and then make a half double crochet in the next 26 stitches. So just go ahead and do that. That's 27 half double crochet in total, and I will join you when I get to that point. So I've made it to this point. I have 27 half double crochets. So at this point I'm going to chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. That's 10 chains. So I'm going to turn my work, skip the first 2 stitches, and into the 3rd chain from the hook I'm going to make a half double crochet, and then a half double crochet into each chain. So that will be 8 half double crochets into 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And I'll continue with this and then make a half double crochet into each stitch across. So in total I should have a total of 35 half double crochets at the end of this 2nd row of the strap. So just go ahead and do that, and I'll join you at the end of row 2 of the strap. I'm through with row 2, so moving on to row 3 of the strap now. I'm going to chain 2, turn, make a half double crochet into each stitch across. So at the end of row 3 we have 35 half double crochets. So row 3 and row 4 is the same thing, so I'm just going to make a half double crochet across, and I'll join you at the end of row 4. So I've made it to row 4 of the strap. So for row 5 now I'm going to chain 2, turn, make a half double crochet in the first stitch, and then half double crochet into each stitch across until I have only 4 stitches left. So I'll just continue with my half double crochet until I have 4 stitches left, and I'll join you at that point to make our first buttonhole. So I've made 31 half double crochet and I have 4 stitches left. So I'm going to chain 2, 1, 2, skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and then make a half double crochet into the last 2 stitches. Now if your button is not big, you can just chain 1, skip 1, and then make a half double crochet in the last 3 stitches. So the buttonhole depends on your button size. If it's big, you can chain 2 and skip 2. If it's not too big, you can just chain 1, skip 1, and then make a half double crochet in the last 3 stitches. So moving on to row 6, I'm going to chain 2, turn, make a half double crochet in the first 2 stitches, 1, 2, then make 2 half double crochet into this chain space, 1 and 2. And I'll continue with my half double crochet into each stitch across. So at the end of the row I should have 35 half double crochets. So just continue, and I'll join you at the end of row 6. So I've made it to the end of row 6 and I have 35 half double crochets. So moving on to row 7, chain 2, turn, make half double crochet into the first stitch, and then a half double crochet into each stitch across. So at the end of row 7 we should have 35 half double crochets. I'm just basically going to repeat the same instruction for rows 8 and 9. So I'll just go ahead and do that, and I'll join you when I'm through with row 9. So I've made it to row 9. That's what I have so far. So moving on to row 10 now. I'm making our second buttonhole now. So chain 2, turn, make a half double crochet into the first 2 stitches, 1 and 2, chain 2, 1, 2. Remember, if your button is small, you can just chain 1 and skip 1. So I've chained 2, I'm going to be skipping to 1, 2, and into the 3rd stitch here, make a half double crochet. Then I'm going to continue the half double crochet into each stitch across, and I will join you at the end of the row. So I'm sure it's row 10, and we have our second buttonhole now, you can see. So moving on to row 11, I'm going to chain 2, 1 and 2, turn, and then make a half double crochet into each stitch across until I get to this chain space, and I'll join you at that point. So I'm about to finish row 11. I've made that 1 half double crochet, so I have 2 chains and 2 stitches left. So into the chain space I'm going to make 2 half double crochet and then finish your row with a half double crochet into the last 2 stitches. So moving on to row 12, I'm just going to chain 2, turn, make a half double crochet into the first stitch, and then a half double crochet into each stitch across, and it's the same thing for row 13. So I'm just going to repeat the same thing for row 12 and 13, and I'll join you when I'm through with row 13. So I'm through with row 13 now. So for the final row, I'm going to chain 1, turn, and then make a single crochet into each stitch across, and at the end of the row I'm going to chain 1 and leave a very long tail and cut my yarn. So I'll join you at that point. So I'm through with row 14. I chained 1, left a very long tail, and then cut my yarn. So I'm going to finish this other end now. I'm going to reattach my yarn with a slip knot. I'll remove this stitch marker, then reattach the yarn. I'm going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then make a half double crochet into the same stitch, and a half double crochet into each stitch until I get to the last stitch here. So in total should be 15 half double crochets. So I'll just go ahead and do that, and I'll join you when I'm through with my 15 half double crochets. So I'm through with my first row of 15 half double crochet. So I'm going to move on to the next row, row 2, chain 2, turn, and then make a half double crochet into each stitch across. So basically I'm just repeating row 1, and then I'll repeat the same thing until I get to row 13. So just go ahead and make a half double crochet into each stitch across, starting the new row with chain 2, turn, half double crochet into each stitch across, and I will join you at the end of row 13. So I've made 13 rows of half double crochet. So to do the final row now, I'm going to chain 1, turn, make a single crochet into the first stitch and a single crochet into each stitch across. So that will be 15 single crochets in all. So I'll just end the row with chain 1, and then I'll cut my yarn. So then I'll come back to show you what to do next. So this is what we have so far. I've finished this other side. I've chained 1 and cut my yarn. So this is what we have so far. So the next thing to do now is to sew up the slipper. So I'm using this ridge here that was formed on our row 6 when we worked into front loops only. I'm using this ridge to determine the right side. So this is the right side. So I'm going to turn it with the right side facing. So this way. So this is the wrong side now. The right side is facing inside, you can see. So I'm going to sew. I'm going to attach my tapestry needle to the long tail that we left. Then just going to sew up the slipper. So you can use any sewing stitch that you are convenient with to come out good. Just make sure that it aligns. So we sew up to this point. Just make sure it aligns, and then we sew all the way to this end. So when I get to that point, then I'll come back to show you what to do next. So the next thing to do now is to sew on the buttons. So I'm just going to place the buttons on row 5 and 6 and make sure that they align with this buttonhole, and then I'll just sew them on. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there will be a button here, and then on row 10 again, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So I'll just make sure that they align well with the buttonholes. So I'll just go ahead and sew on my buttons off camera. I'll use a metal tapestry needle, and I'll join when I'm through with sewing on the buttons. So I'm through with sewing up the slipper, and this is what I have. This pattern has other contains instruction from US size 5 to 9, and also the kid version and the baby version is also available. You can find the repeating pattern in my blog. I'm going to link everything down below. You can also buy the paid pattern that contains all instructions, my Ravelry, Etsy, and Lovecraft stores. So I hope you enjoyed watching this tutorial. Thanks for watching. See you in my next tutorial. Bye.